Hello YouTube, welcome in, Freeform here, and we are going to be hanging out with some Pancreasenowork again, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the Skaven. Specifically the Great Clans, the many kinds of rats. Rats. We are the rats. Anyway, we're just going to jump into it. Remember to watch the whole video, comment, tell me what you think I should look into next, and yeah, let's get started.
Warhammer has a lot of rats. There's plenty of normal rats to go.
I like how the specific person he looked at was not a rat, but a different form of rat. Oh, right. And, by the way, whenever I mention, Warhammer as the main default, universe that this takes place in, I do understand that it isn't actually in Warhammer. I'm going to say this early in the thing. I know that the Skaven are part of, like, a fantasy setting. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, because it's not, like, a prevalent thing that I've looked into too terribly far. I probably will within the coming weeks here, or coming days even, who knows. But yeah, no, I do understand it. They're not actually in Warhammer itself. They are in a different universe sort of thing, but it's under the Warhammer umbrella. That's why I'm going to say Warhammer.
Around in any of the settings, because be it the 41st millennium or the magical mortal realms, these little critters are hard to get rid of. It's so far only Alberta that has managed to remain free of them in real life. In 40k, there's ratlings, which are granted actually hobbits, but rats in the name and they're little fellas, so they still kinda count. And of course, there's the Skaven, the premier ratman of Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar, and one of the more unique things GW has
Age of Sigmar, that's the one. Yep.
Ever created. God bless the people that decided to give rats machine guns, because that's very fun. But even these
yeah. Legitimately, you take any kind of little chaotic race and give them a machine gun, and I think we're just always in for a good time, so long as it's in the media, not in real life.
Despicable morons have to have some form of organization. Their main idea for things may be throwing rats at a problem until it's solved, but they have to all have some vague agreement that a certain thing is a problem to do that. Thus we come to the various clans of Skavendom.
I love how this is just the Final Supper. This is just a picture of the Final Supper. But instead of Jesus in the middle, it's just magic rock.
A few of them are different flavors of mad scientists, wielding either technology beyond the realm of sanity or creating the most horrific abominations that would make Frankenstein look tame. Others are sneaky ninjas, darting in and out of the shadows to achieve what they want.
Master Splinter!
And more still subscribe to the time-tested method of outnumbering the enemy 100 to 1 and drowning
Subscribe! Make sure you do that.
Them with pure weight of rats more than anything else. The clans of Skavendom are beautiful to behold in the way only absolutely horrid things can be, so let's take a look at the different clans of them.
Are those naked mole rats? I mean, that tracks for a mount. But man, that's fucked. Also, what is going on with their... They have the tusks, and they've got, like, a little tentacle tongue going on? What? Ew. Ew.
Expect to find in the Warhammer world. But before we start, a quick shout out to Minimaker, this video's sponsor. What's Minimaker make? They make minis, dude. It's in the name.
Really? I never would have guessed.
3D printed minis for playing tabletop RPGs or war games with that you could drop off the table.
You'll get you'll get a highly resistant dark gray miniature with sharp details. This level is optimized for tabletop gaming miniatures, perfect for wargaming and RPG pieces, and other projects which require very tough and amazing looking models. Miniatures printed with our gaming quality have the look and feel very similar to regular plastic models you'd be accustomed to. These models can take fall without any damage, while their thin elements are very flexible and can be bent without breaking. You can expect a slightly shiny finish, clearly visible details, and a material which is easy to scrape and cut with a sharp modeling knife. We are able to produce such amazing gaming models thanks to... Really, dog? Thanks to Wargamer resin created by Foxhammer, and yes, that's 3D printed. Nice. Let's see here. Going around 30 to 70 euro, looks like. I mean, that's not too bad. That's like $60 to $150 per kit.
table and they'll be fine.
Or model?
Minis for displaying nice and pretty on your shelf.
If you are looking for absolutely flawless sharpness of detail and overall best-looking models, then this is the right print quality for you. We created this option for display print painters and collectors in mind. Display print quality gives you a stunning model in red clay color with matte finish, thanks to which paint will stick to them perfectly. Ideal choice for busts, 75mm scale models, and competition printing pieces, painting pieces. This option offers less flexible models than gaming quality, but the product you'll get won't be brittle by any means.
Minis that are on a budget but still look phenomenal. They've got...
Okay, I'll read the last one. Twist my rubber arm, why don't you? If what you want for your project is good-looking miniature which can take a fall and not break, but you don't need the absolute best sharpness of detail, then this is the print quality for you. For this option, we managed to minimize production costs to offer a perfect choice for horde armies, scenery pieces, and low-budget projects. But don't let the name mislead you. The light gray models you'll get will still look great and offer more than enough flexibility to be durable. There we go. Wow, man. Guys, I've barely slept in the last 2 days. My reading comprehension is normally pretty bad, and right now it feels like it's right in the shitter.
They've got a quality option for each of those choices, and you have plenty of options of minis to purchase. Okay. Just as good as their quality is how they get it to you. All of it's made to order, which means there's no need to worry about either a mini being out of stock or a scalper buying all the stock and then hoarding it like a dragon. You will get what you want, and it'll ship worldwide within 2 to 10
To be fair, I'm pretty sure scalpers only focus on like the AAA companies. The ones that, the companies that everybody knows they exist, so they would probably scalp a Games Workshop directly created model, but they wouldn't scalp, something made on Etsy to resell later. I mean, some do, but they get more bang for their buck going for the big name brand stuff.
Business days. I have waited longer for medical supplies than I did for the minis they sent me. That is not a joke. That is how good their shipping is. And if you have any questions or suggestions,
or that might be telling how bad the shipping for the medical stuff is.
You can reach out to them no problem and tell them what's on your mind. Is something missing from the store? They'll add it as a mini. You can make suggestions for minis to be added, and they will add them. If that isn't grade A customer service, I don't know what is. To get in on these phenomenal minis, it's nice and easy. Go to minimaker.com and start shopping. If you buy enough minis, you can even get points to buy more minis with. And if you use code Pancreas at checkout, you get yourself a 10% discount. Head on over to minimaker.com now, use code Pancreas, and get yourself some phenomenal minis today. Now then, time to invest in rat poison. To start off, I should say that there are untold
oh my goodness. Well, that's too small for me to be able to read, but holy crap, there's a lot of them.
Thousands of Skaven clans even before we get to Age of Sigmar, where their numbers started reaching the singularity. Some of them are truly massive, numbering in the hundreds of thousands of rats. Others are just a few isolated vermin with maybe a single good thing going for them. Most of them, however, take influence from one of the great clans, which is what we'll be talking about today.
Okay.
It's not a hard set.
Okay, so it's kind of like the how the Marines and the Orcs are. There's there's countless actual families and factions and all that. However, there's the main factions that everybody knows of, and then all the others are kind of built off of those factions. So you'll have the Ultramarines and then the Chaos Space Marines and all that, the Blood Angels and the Emperor's Children and all that. But you will also have I don't know, the Doki Doki Marines, who all specialize in being pink and frilly and shoot heart lasers. Just as an example. Or in Orc Society, they have the Bad Moons and the and the Goths, I think they're called. I don't know. I'm trying to use my two goldfish in order to actually remember all the little details, but yeah. These are the main factions, and then everything else is just kind of splintered off of those. Or just, homebrew made.
rule that the Skaven clans are all copies of a greater one. There's one clan, Clan Rictus, that has its claim to fame in the form of tolls they force on anyone entering or leaving the Darklands. Another, Clan Scurvy, are exactly what you think they are, pirate rats. There are as many things for a Skaven clan to be about as there are Skaven clans out there, because while the rats love to steal things from everyone else, they also get up to plenty of wacky nonsense when left to their own devices.
Yeah.
But the great clans, as you can expect from the name, have such massive amounts of influence that their cultures and more leak into the rest of Skavendom. So for the sake of simplicity, we'll focus today on those great clans, as well as one other particular highlight. Starting us off, we have...
Clan Scryer. Yeah, Clan Scryer.
Welcome to Rat Raytheon, young engineering major. Say goodbye to your moral code and say hello to making new and exciting ways to detonate dwarfs.
Yay!
It's fair, though. The words Skaven and moral code were never together to begin with.
No.
Clan Scryer is the wealthiest Skaven clan out of all of them, and one of the 4 reigning great clans. Their power lays in both the realm of mundane technology as well as arcane might, and given how prevalent warpstone is in Skaven society, those things frequently overlap. To give you an idea as to how prolific they are, pretty much every Skaven weapon out there was created by these guys.
Okay.
Rattling guns, Jezzails, mortars, warp fire throwers, doom wheels that run down the enemy, artillery cannons that can destroy the moon. If it's anything more than a rusty spear, it probably came from a Scryer workshop.
Or the Rusty Spear was also made from a Scryer workshop. It's just made from the interns. No, out of the interns, that's all.
Don't take that to mean that Clan Scryer only makes weapons, though, because there's plenty of non-violent things they make as well, as much as a shocker as it may sound for a Skaven to make non-lethal creations. The warp lights that allow the
Non-lethal? I don't know about that.
rats to see in their tunnels are another invention of theirs, as is the warp rail that connects the entire Under Empire. That's right.
Okay, I see. So non-lethal as in tools. That doesn't sound useful to me. Why can't they cause, like, boiling damage when you're looking at things with the light? There's a trick that they should do.
The Skaven have subways. It was Clan Scryer digging machines that excavated those rail networks as well. Clan Scryer is so powerful and rich because they make the things the lore doesn't focus on. Those little things that you logically know need to exist, but they're boring, so they aren't really talked about. Their influence runs deep because of how widespread their stuff is, and though no Skaven clan has ever quite taken down all the others, Clan Scryer is in a position to cause perhaps the most damage if they went rogue, only matched by one other. Really, they could just stop selling stuff to everyone. The only people that might have the power to force them are the Grey Seers, given that they're the mouth of the Horned Rat and all that. Everyone else has to pay top dollar for Scryer weaponry.
I keep hearing about this Horned Rat. I hope we're going to get into that a little bit here.
Because for all that it is still Skaven equipment and therefore prone to exploding, Scryer does good work. Would you rather be a Skaven clan with access to rattling guns, or one banned from ever touching one of the things? That's how Scryer stays in business. I was tempted to say that Clan Scryer is one of the more dangerous...
Fair. To rattling gun or not to rattling gun? Obviously, you would like to rattling gun.
Skaven clans to be a part of, but then I thought about it, and that's an almost meaningless statement. All Skaven clans churn through rats like popcorn. That doesn't mean anything to say one is particularly dangerous. Instead, here's their specific way of getting themselves killed. Because Clan Scryer is all about engineering projects, they naturally spend a lot of time researching. Now, even in the real world, sometimes things go wrong.
Right, this situation. Yeah.
Just look at the Demon Core. A slip of a screwdriver, and everyone in that room became a dead man walking. Clan Scryer is that, but not only do the rats not care if you blow up, sometimes you blowing up is either the point or a happy accident they're going to put more research in.
Okay, Emperor number 32, please go and touch the bomb. Okay, he touched the bomb with finger. Did not explode on contact. Okay. Intern number 34, can you go strike the bomb with your hammer, please? Thank you. It blew up. Perfect. So striking it with a hammer lightly by weak intern Ratman is enough to detonate bomb. Perfect.
2. Health and safety protocols do not exist, for such things are not the Skaven way. Clan Scryer's research, even for the most mundane of things, involves a...
Osha goes up to the Skaven workshop, looks up, and looks up, sees every single worker with some sort of bludgeons, sharpened stick, or rattling gun, and Osha turns to the organizer and the man on charge and is like, "You're good to go. No questions asked. Done."
body count in the dozens, if not hundreds, and for some of this stuff, it's absolutely reaching the thousands. I would guarantee you that Ratling guns were tested on thousands of Skaven slaves before they were ever deployed to the field. And Skaven engineering being what it is, even the non-weapon things they create are probably rickety pieces of garbage that only work just well enough to be sellable to other rats. The life of a warlock engineer and his acolytes are one fraught with peril, not even from other rats necessarily, but from their own deranged experiments. Other rats will, of course, also try to kill them the moment they look like their research is going to succeed, though. Why do all that troublesome research yourself when you can kill the guy who did, copy his notes roughly accurately, and take credit? But
I've done it! I figured out how to make the Ratling gun shoot 50% faster! And then they get shot in the back of the head. Ratomedes comes up, picks up the new Ratling gun. Aha! I think he just made the chamber go faster. Genius! I'm gonna do that now.
all of this is irrelevant. If a warplock engineer can make one moderately successful project, be it a weapon or something like those warp lights to assist the Skaven in day-to-day life with, he will be rich beyond his beliefs as he milks it for everything it's worth. More importantly for the whole, Clan Scryer will be able to profit from his inventions as they sell it to the rest of the Under Empire. 10,000 dead slaves and a few dozen dead warlocks is nothing compared to the amount of warp tokens that can be raked in as a result of a new invention, and every warlock wants to be the one to invent it and take credit for it, more importantly. And Scryer technology, for how unreliable it is genuinely more advanced than anyone else's. The dwarfs will occasionally use oil in some projects like their gyrocopters and the Spirit of Grungni, and they do have some trains. The Skaven, meanwhile, have invented Skype, underground rail networks, and energy.
Did you say Skype? Like, Skype, the messaging system that we used to use, and maybe some people still use to this day. Am I hearing that right?
Weapons. Even from their point of view, Scryer tech can be unreliable, but that's where the difference between people and Skaven comes in. A human army outfitting their soldiers with weapons that have a 1/3 chance of exploding would be seen as cruel and evil, as well as just wasteful. To the
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're spending a bunch of material on a weapon and then give it to one of your few warriors to use, and then it just blows up, takes out the human using it and a few other people next to him, well, that's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. But to Ratmen, it's like, oh, that has a chance of happening? Sweet. Okay, now what you do with that is you take it and you run right into the middle of them and just keep blasting. Eventually, when it goes off, you will take them all with ya.
Skaven, who cares if they explode? As long as Scryer stuff kills at least a few enemies before it takes out your gunners, and it's almost certainly reliable enough to do at least that, it did the job it needed to. Of course, the likelihood of something going wrong tends to scale with how grand a piece of tech it is, but that just means you have to be farther away from it when it's deployed. And really, did you want to be next to the Warpstone nuclear bomb when it went off anyways?
Right?
Clan Scryer is in fantasy ruled by Morse Guitar. There's not much known about this rat, but as a member of the Council of 13, you can safely assume he's incredibly smart, dangerous, and cunning. In fact, he's over 400 years old and once was able to declare himself the Emperor of Skavenblight during their second civil war.
He's over 400 years old. Do you think he's probably just looks like the Emperor of Mankind right now? just a skull sitting on a throne, and everybody around him, his little council, is using his influence in order to control the masses.
Scryer technology may be the only thing keeping him around, but at the end of the day, it is keeping him around, proving his capability as an engineer. And by virtue of being a Skaven 400 years old, you can assume he knows how to handle any upstart underling acolytes that might try and take credit from him, or as it were, keep him from taking their credit. For one last thing, I would theorize that Clan Scryer interacts with non-Skaven non-violently more often than most other clans do, because the thing about Skaven research and development is that it as often as not, it involves stealing stuff from the other races. If they can get their hands on a dwarf cannon, they don't have to go through the rigmarole of designing a whole cannon. They just have to jam it full of warpstone and see what happens when they fire it. So it benefits them to be, if not sneaky, then much more directed with their assaults. Non-violently interacting is definitely not the best way to put it, but essentially they aren't attacking you because it's part of a glorious scheme to bring about Skavendom's rise to power. Not just because of that anyways. They probably just want your stuff and are more than happy to kill you to get to it.
Clan Molder.
The other mad scientist clan, this one being from the Frankenstein Fellows. An ancient clan, their origins date back as far
Clan Scryer, they focus on building machines and working on technology in that way. Clan Molder focuses on alchemical feats and mutations. Okay.
Far as negative 1450 in the Imperial calendar, when one of the surviving Skaven, after they accidentally blew up most of the Under Empire, marched northwards and founded the city of Hellpit, with the area being right on the border of Norska and therefore close to the Chaos Waste.
This rat has 6 arms. He's a spooter rat. And I think one of those arms might be a foot.
All sorts of lovely abominations can already be found here. The forebears of Clan Molder took one look at all these monsters and thought to themselves, how can we make them even worse? The capital of Hellpit is rich with warpstone as well, further allowing them to do their grisly work. Clan Molder has sure enough become a great clan by virtue of how many different kinds of beasties they create in their lab to sell. Their packmasters will scoop up any suitably interesting creature.
What is going on here? It's got... So... when I was first learning about Warhammer, like way back in the day, right? When I was first learning about that, Warhammer wasn't the big popular game series around where I lived. It was a game system called War Machine instead, which was basically Warhammer, but a little different. Maybe I'll do a dive into War Machine later. But there was one clan, one group called, I think they were the Cricks, I believe. And they were basically just a bunch of necrotic machines. And they infused bone and metal constantly. And a lot of their units had heads that looked like this. With the green and everything like that. It's very... it just blast from the past on that one. I don't know a lot about War Machine. Should probably look into it. Is it an offshoot of Warhammer? I don't think so. I think it might have just been like one of those copycat sort of ideas. Or maybe War Machine was a copycat of Warhammer? Or other way around? I don't know. But yeah, no, this thing looks like something from the Cricks, just a little less metal. But yeah, it's that fucked up.
They find and take it back to a master molder's lair to experiment on. And experiment is only the word I'm using because I can't really think of a better one. Torture is a good way to describe it, in all honesty. They'll just poke and prod in a creature's insides, adding and removing bits to see what happens, and then when it almost inevitably dies, they'll round up another one and start over again. This is one of the more horrific of Skaven clans because of their focus on biological experiments. When Clan Scryer experiments with a new piece of tech, the danger is that it'll blow up in their face. When Clan Molder has a new formula for warp steroids to test, they're kidnapping animals and people to experiment on with. Though any clans can do it, Clan Molder is one that especially likes to go up and kidnap entire villages Dark Eldar style. One second everyone is going about their day, the next village is a ghost town. The buildings are untouched, food can still be found half-eaten on plates, but all the people are gone, spirited away to Hellpit to be turned into something horrific. Hellpit itself is layered like a cake, or more accurately, layered like...
Sounds fantastic. That sounds great. Oh, that is horrific.
Hell and Dante's Inferno. 9 different levels of atrocities await anyone coming to this place, naturally getting worse and worse as you go down further. Just to get in, there's a river of lava you have to pass, guarded by a rat guardian who glows bright green with warpstone. After that, you start running into all sorts of nasties created by the smartest of master molders. To be quite frank, if you're here, you're either going to become one of those nasties or become food for one of those nasty.
One of us, one on the plate. One on the plate.
Though if you're real unlucky, you might get molded into the walls of Hellpit. They can do that, apparently. And yes, you are still alive and in agony when it happens. For what practical purpose this serves, I don't know, because Skaven aren't like the Dark Eldar in that they get physical and spiritual nourishment from suffering like that. I think they genuinely just like doing that to people. All of this is supported by Clan Molder selling their creation.
Okay, so last time I asked a silly question: who would be worse, the Skaven or the Dark Eldar? And the majority of comments were pretty much saying Skaven. The Skaven. The Dark Eldar do it because, they've kind of have to. The Skaven do it because for the love of the game. That's just straight up. Okay, fair enough then.
To other races. Everyone wants a kaiju on their side in a war, and Clan Moulder is making, if not Godzilla, then at least a decent approximation of him, with a ratty theme for flavor. The least impressive thing they export are just hungry rat swarms, likely slightly mutated at least by warpstone exposure and general experimentation. Though most Skaven can't actually control rats, some Moulder Packmasters can, and will send them scurrying towards the enemies of Skavendom for an appropriate price. Others are far more obvious in their value. Rat ogres are aptly named and can tear apart the enemies of the Skaven, as well as other Skaven, and Clan Moulder charges a high price because of this. They know everyone wants one. Hellpit abominations are the cream of the crop, costing the highest price but also being one of the most powerful weapons a Skaven warlord could hope to command.
Yeah.
If you'll excuse some more theory crafting, I would have to assume that part of Clan Moulder's marketability is that once you buy a creature, it's pretty low maintenance. Just throw it in a big enough cage or hole and feed it some Skaven slaves every now and again. Easy.
Buy yourself a monster and feed it on the blood of your enemies. That's all you have to do. And you just want to make sure that it knows where home is by zapping it in the rump while it's defenseless and making sure you throw lots of food at it in its whole home. Mm-hmm.
Peasy. Whoever has to let it out when it's time for war is also probably getting eaten, but such is the life of the humble clan rat. Clan Moulder is also perfectly happy to do custom jobs if you ask them politely and bribe them enough. Master Moulders are nothing if not artistic with the liberties they take when experimenting on living creatures. Maybe you want your monsters to be especially armored. Thicker skin and metal can be bolted onto it for just a measly few dozen more extra warp tokens. Maybe you want your monsters to also have guns. Well, that's gonna run you the big bucks since that was a clan scry or collaboration project, but storm feeds are wanted perhaps more than even rat ogres, so that can be done too. But maybe you're also a free-spirited rat and want your Clan Moulder contact to do whatever he wants and show you the result. He's gonna happily march back to his workshop.
Hey, Mr. Clan Moulder, sir. Yes? I want you to have fun, okay? Go on. Make me whatever you think this is worth, and just a mountain of warp tokens. If you do a good enough job, I might throw in a tip. And you double. I could probably double. Done. Let's have fun.
Spin a wheel a few times and add whatever it lands on to his monstrous creation. You're either going to get upcharged to high hell because he'll lie to you about the work that went in, or you may get a special discount for letting an aspiring artist work on his magnum opus. Either way, it's guaranteed to be horrific, and it'll probably be lethal to at least the first person.
The thing that throws me off is that they basically are treating Clan Moulder as, like, modern day artists. Right? Like, okay, here's my job here. Right, here's the job that I want to that I'm able to do for you. This is how much it is in order to add an extra character to the model. Here, if the thing is a little bit more complicated, here's the addition that we're going to have to deal with. Here's the labor costs if you want to use it for this and that, and blah 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 blah. Oh, you want to just go ham, do whatever I want, just be a goofy little goober and just scab it up? Okay, cool, I'll do it for cheap. It's basically artists these days.
Person you sick it on. The Skaven of Clan Moulder
Just
themselves are
terrifying.
an odd bunch, especially mutated by chaos waste energy as well as constant warpstone exposure, even by Skaven standards. Rampant hunger, extra limbs, and more are not uncommon to see, and sometimes the line between Clan Moulder mutant and Clan Moulder creation is functionally irrelevant. Throt the Unclean has 3 arms, warpstone jammed in his eye, and in his own words, endless hunger. The Packlord of Moulder's Verminkin, who sits on the Council of 13, is technically 2 rats sharing one lumpy, misshapen, mutated body. They frequently argue with each other and would no doubt try to kill each other if it weren't for the fact that aside from the 2 different heads, they've all got the same organs. Fratricide is a lot harder to pull off when it's also suicide. One last thing of note is that Clan Moulder is the best place to be.
So there is a limit on their murder. They value their own lives. So if murdering your brother will kill you, then that's a little bit of a deterrent. Gotcha.
be a physically frail Skaven. If you have brains, they'll support your endeavors, not because they actually care about you, but because a smart, if physically weak, master molder can still create profitable monsters. To be absolutely clear, this is not charity. If you can't immediately prove you're smart enough or capable enough in some way to make up for being a runt, you are now food for someone's monsters. But if you can quickly prove your brain is worth the lack of brawn, they'll probably keep you around.
Fair enough. Pancreasenowork.
Master Splinter hasn't been the same since he took a trip to the Chaos Wastes,
Oh no.
smoking crack. Clan Eshin is the stealthy branch of the Skaven Under Empire, specializing in everything from hit-and-run tactics and war to high-stakes espionage and assassination. Calling any one Skaven clan the most feared is tricky because they can all do horrid things to you when crossed, but the threat of a Clan Eshin assassination is something that always hangs over any properly paranoid Skaven warlord's head. Founded by Lord Visktrin, who never got to see the heights his clan would reach on account of running into a dragon, Clan Eshin's forebears traveled far to the east to Cathay and Nippon. There.
Yeah, so far it seems like Scryer, your main concern with them is they will come and grab you and be like, you are test subject number 473 today. Congratulations. Clan Molder will just spirit away your entire family, friends, and village. And then either turn you into a wall, a rat, or food. And now Clan Eshin, the main issue is that they can just pop up at any point and remove you from the census.
For reasons that I simply cannot fathom, some of them decided it was a good idea to teach these mangy, rabid, evil rats how to be ninja assassins. There was even lore that at one point a Clan Eshin member...
This has been a thing for a long time. Let's see. Master Splinter. There's a game called Shining Force. In Shining Force 2, you have... I believe his name is Slade, who is, guess what, a rat ninja. Rats plus ninjas, they just kind of go hand in hand. Like you see rat, and you're like, okay, if this was a character, what would they look like? They look like basically what's on the screen right now. Okay.
was an advisor to Cathay. The Dragon Emperor must have been on a bender when that was allowed. For a while they were thought lost to Skaven kind, but after a few hundred years they slunk back into Skaven blight, set up a den, and became the chief spies and assassins of Skavendom. Clan Eshin, much like the rest of the Skaven, have two modes, but they're particularly pronounced with these guys. They have comedy mode and utter horror mode.
Yay!
For the former,
I love those though.
Gotrek and Felix
I love it when they have those two modes. It's great.
displays it the best. When some Clan Eshin gutter runners tried to assassinate Gotrek and Felix, they barely made it to Gotrek. And this was in the early books, so it was before Felix was properly terrifying in his own way. Even in spite
I had to look into Gotrek and Felix. Because this is the second time I'm hearing about them, and it seems like everything around them is just pure and utter comedy. So I would love to look into them more.
of that, the entire assassination attempt reads like a Three Stooges bit. Rats tripped over each other, tripped over furniture, tripped over Felix, tripped onto their weapons. The entire event probably only took about 20 seconds, and by the end of it, almost all of the rats were dead. The reader escaped, only to later be obliterated by
What is this anatomy? I know this is from, like, Watchmen or something like that, but why is he caked up on a Tuesday? Oh my god. Oh, I see. This is an edit. This was an edit that made him caked up. Ah, okay. You can tell by the blur on his booty.
Being vaguely annoying to Thanquol. On the other hand, enter Deathmaster Snitch. Deathmaster Snitch is like a rat version of the alien from Alien.
It is... You will always use the full name. Deathmaster Snitch. You will not call him Snitch. You will only call him Deathmaster Snitch. You will not call him Deathmaster. You will call him Deathmaster Snitch. Only.
He wields 3 swords of warpstone to super kill enemies dead. He can supposedly teleport using shadows and come out of them at will.
Zoro did that first. Granted, Zoro is using his teeth, so this guy could probably do four sword style, but I mean, like, wouldn't biting be better at that point?
Supposedly once assassinated an Empire official, yet the guy's door was locked the whole time, and that was the only entrance, so how the hell did he get in? He supposedly can be anywhere at any time, and you'll never know. All of this supposedly talk is intentionally cultivated by Clan Eshin's higher-ups, because it adds to his terrifying reputation. Clan Eshin assassins completely unrelated to Snitch will carve his mark on the bodies of their targets just to further his legend. Presumably they don't complain about this because they're worried Snitch might pay them a visit for trying to rise above their station. For all that they are assassins, they do still have units to play as large groups on tabletop. Night Runners are skirmishers that have been given the barest amount of stealth training and taught how to throw shurikens and pointy rocks at people. This training, mind you, includes stealing money from blind homeless people, and it has been noted that sometimes these homeless are apparently not only not blind, but proficient in martial arts.
Oh. I was about to make a joke about how they were not blind because, they were able to see before they were being stolen from, and then they got their eyes removed. No, apparently they're also, okay, they're the blind monk thing. Okay, fair enough then.
Clan is either rampantly incompetent on most levels or exclusively trains against out-of-work D&D adventurers. Feel free to assume whichever is funnier to you is true. Gutter Runners, meanwhile, are when a Clan rat can just about grasp concepts like actually sneaking, and are therefore much more dangerous. They can be armed with more than just weapons. Poison is a common thing for them to carry, as well as nets to trip enemies up on the battlefield or in their rooms to make the kill all the easier. And of course, a full-blown Eshin assassin is where the jump from goofy rat person to Michael Myers if he was a rat occurs.
Yay!
In day-to-day life, Clan Eshin deals in information gathering as much as killing people. Information is a valuable commodity, especially in the treachery-ridden Skaven world, and Clan Eshin will sell out their services to spy on rival Skaven warlords to anyone who can meet their price. Of course, they also may be on the payroll of the guy you're trying to spy on, so caution is always warranted. The Council of 13 makes frequent usage of
And make sure you ask, hey, just to check, are you on the payroll of the other person? Yeah. How much are they paying you? This much. How much more do I need to pay in order for you to not sell me out to this person? This much. And if you pay any less, then it's not going to work. And if you pay more, it probably will happen more frequently. Wait, what?
Eshin services, spying on those near and far for their interests. Their den in Skavenblight is a fairly humble thing, but no one knows what goes on inside of it. Any Skaven that wanders too close tends to disappear, and you can assume all sorts of Home Alone-style traps with a lot more lethality in mind absolutely litter the place.
What? Because those Home Alone traps were very lethal. Are you kidding me? He was sending so many volts through that doorknob. He legitimately, those guys in Home Alone, the Water Brothers or whatever it is, they should be dead. They should be straight up dead. Home Alone 3, yeah, sure, might have been like a what's it called? A offshoot of Home Alone 1 and 2, but like they pulled one woman out of a dumbwaiter and she was basically folded up like a pretzel, okay? Like, they should all be dead.
They appear incredibly unified by Skaven standards, but that might just be because we rarely see the inner machinations of the clan. When a Clan Eshin character makes an appearance in a book, they're just as cowardly as other Skavens, so they'll certainly still sell out their fellows to save their own skin. It might just be we don't see the dissent and infighting common in other Skaven clans because they hide it very well. It's a lot harder to be horror movie villains when everyone knows your group is just as full of bumbling morons as theirs is. Clan Eshin overall is a fairly mysterious clan with only so much to be discussed, but I want to make it clear that they are to the rest of the Skaven an utterly terrifying force. When the Second Skaven Civil War broke out, they were able to not only remain neutral.
They're terrifying in a different way. Like, you can definitely, I'm sure a lot more people would say like Scryer and Mulder would probably be the more terrifying of the three of them, just because, once again, they wear what they do on their sleeves. Whereas Eshin, everything is either extremely comedic or very like hit and run instant death. Like, you're a movie villain, which is terrifying in its own right, but that's not as grand as what Scryer and Mulder do, because it's more showy. Whereas the horror movie villain archetype that Eshin has, it's more like focused on one person at a time, not like the grand grouping of them.
In the conflict as a whole, but hired themselves out to all sides and make a profit without getting retaliated on en masse. In the first book of Thanquol's omnibus, he regarded the local ruler of Clan Eshin and Underaltdorf as the greatest single threat he had to face, at least in terms of combatants. That is how terrifying the Skaven of Clan Eshin are to the rest of the Under Empire. And though it was end times nonsense, it was Deathmaster Snikt who snuck into Thorgrim's escape chamber and killed him because he left the door open. They really can be anywhere, and you may only know you've been targeted by Eshin when an assassin comes to snuff out your life. Oh, and they also really love poison. There's a rat named Ricket Tick that's compiled a way to kill almost everything in the Warhammer world, mostly with poison. Funny thing is, he sat down with some Imperial scholar and casually told him all about his knowledge. I don't think he even killed the guy afterwards. He just really loved talking about his craft, and his craft happened to be poisoning people. That's oddly sweet, isn't it? At least by Skaven standards.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Oh, Clan Pestilence. I wonder what they're all about. I'm sure it's going to be just absolutely lovely and fun and fantastic and nice. Totally normal, totally simple. Totally not about, the plague.
This is the other Skaven clan that provokes a sense of fear in Skaven outside of it. However, where Clan Eshin does it by having the potential to jump scare you at any given moment, the fear of Clan Pestilence comes from two distinct sources. One is their defining feature, that being their diseases, but the other is something I bet you didn't expect to hear shouted outside of 40k or maybe by witch hunters. Heresy. The most obvious trait about Clan Pestilence is their disease-ridden everything. The origins of the clan come during a period of expansion in
Well, actually, that does make a lot of sense, because in medieval times and all that, like, the people that would take care of diseases and all that and actually, like, work around the diseases were members of the clergy, right? And a lot of the times they would say, hey, you're sick because there's a devil in you, because you're evil in some way, shape, or form. And they would then treat you according to that. In this situation, I guess they probably go whole old Nurgle with it. Also, nice little detail. Rats constantly grow their teeth, or some rats do anyway. And if they are not chewing those down properly, they just keep going. Normally, they would go up into the brain, but this guy was smart and probably broke his jaw a little bit so that one side would go one way and the other would go that way. Yay!
Migration. Their forebearers, whose original clan name is lost to time, ventured under the oceans themselves for generations. This was generations in Skaven terms, granted, so like a couple of decades, but that's still a pretty decent amount of time. When they finally arrived at their destination, they realized across the ocean lay the land of Lustria. Lustria, the home of the Lizardmen, is not exactly receptive to outside guests. The land itself is a murderous jungle like Catachan and 40k, if the whole
I mean, like, what else would you expect?
The whole thing was also magical. Plus, the Lizardmen are Space Marine-sized lizard people that can and will rip you apart for showing up. They lucked out on avoiding the Lizardmen, but when they arrived at the ruined city of Ketsa, the local disease ravaged the clan. At a certain point, barely 100 of them remained, and from here the lore diverges into what I personally call the Fun Skaven route and the GW Hard-On for Chaos route. In the Fun Skaven route, they began worshipping the diseases that ravaged them. If these diseases were ravaging them so, it must be the Horned Rat's will, and so they would instead embrace this disease as the true aspect of their deity, that of a filthy, disease-ridden carrier of destruction. In the Hard-On for Chaos route, there was a great unclean one under the city they started worshipping as an aspect of the Horned Rat. Same end result, but one is more Skaven insanity and an alternative to Nurgle if you like diseases, whereas the other is more...
So Nurgle was mistaken for a rat god. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes... Yeah, no, that tracks, that tracks. Honestly, I would assume Nurgle looks at the Skaven as like, I love them so much! They're so cute! They're little rat men. It's great.
Or of chaos actually being the origin the whole time. Regardless, their numbers grew. They cultivated quite the knowledge of disease, and after a while they returned back to the old world and Skavendom proper. When they showed back up, they immediately demanded things like territory and breeding rights, because Skaven are awful, massive amounts of warpstone as tribute, because Skaven are greedy, and a seat on the Council of 13, because you might as well shoot for the moon. Predictably, everyone told Clan Pestilence to piss off. Rather less predictably for the Skaven, Pestilence responded
Ew, gross, go away.
with biological warfare and swarming them with plague monks. Initially, it was expected that Clan Pestilence could be swiftly dealt with via the old reliable method of rattling gun spam. Then the disease got worse. Then Clan Pestilence obliterated an entire clan in the Southlands. Then hundreds of clans switched over to Pestilence's side. Of course, this is still a Skaven civil war. Much like their engineering, things will go wrong at any possible chance.
Of course.
And in this case, it occurred when Clan Eshin had nearly every clan warlord of those that sided with Pestilence assassinated. With this rather upsetting turn of events, Pestilence pleaded for a meeting. It was granted, and the Lord of Pestilence, Plague Lord Nurglich, even managed to actually reach the Council of 13 through the swarm of assassins they sent his way.
Wait, what was that guy's name?
Pestilence pleaded for a meeting with Pestilence assassinated. With this rather upsetting turn of events, Pestilence pleaded for a meeting. It was granted, and the Lord of Pestilence, Plague Lord Nurglich, even
He named himself after Nurgle. Nurgle-lich.
managed to actually
That's
reach the
great.
Council of 13 through the swarm of assassins they sent his way. He was allowed to challenge for a seat on the council, and when he threw the weakest council member off the top of a tower, Clan Pestilence was allowed a seat and became one of the great clans.
You guys really are part of us. You killed the weak link.
They would go on to be responsible for the near destruction of both the Empire and Bretonnia through the Black Plague and Red Pox respectively, though both examples eventually also burned through the Skaven ranks at the height of their campaigning and eventually resulted in a second Skaven civil war. This one was resolved with the Horned Rat personally coming in to make sure everyone almost started behaving, but Pestilence kept their status and power they had gained up to this point. Yes, by the way, you heard that right. The Black Death in Warhammer Fantasy was caused by rats. Just so happened to be on purpose this time around.
I mean, we don't know what the rats were planning in our own timeline. Oh, that's fair enough then.
Clan Pestilence is perhaps the Skaven clan least concerned with personal glory. Oh, to be sure, they will take credit for themselves, but at least amongst characters like Lord Skrulk, they'll try and do things for the glory of Clan Pestilence and themselves. To them, the Horned Rat is especially worshipped, as he is their sickly master who will bring ruin to all those who deny his plagued gifts. Working somewhat together will bring the ascension of not only him, of course, but Clan Pestilence as well. This is where the second part of fear against them comes in. Most Skaven view this as a highly heretical stance to take, breaking tradition with how the Horned Rat truly is to be viewed. The problem is Clan Pestilence is, if nothing else, powerful enough to keep themselves around after two massive civil wars, so one way or another...
Look. Our god can come in many forms. He can come in many forms and have many sides to him. The form that we chose for him is very much in line with what he does. It's just we have a very big fascination for, yeah.
Calling them heretics in the street and trying to kill them will just result in that Skaven's death. The other more obvious thing is that they're so disgustingly filthy and disease-ridden that standing near them can cause you to melt into sludge. Non-pestilence Skaven are no safer from this than other races, so it's also for practical purpose that this clan is kept at an arm's reach. Clan Pestilence will occasionally try and cook up some super plague to infect the world with, such as with the Red Pox or Black Death. They tried it in Nuln, but that was during a Gotrek and Felix novel, so you can guess how that panned out for them. When it's time to come out in force, however, they rush down their enemy with countless infected rats that are actually bolstered by their diseases, and the rabid fervor of Clan Pestilence means that they'll run away far later than most other Skaven would. In the end times, this is how they took down the Lizardmen. The magical defenses set up were perfectly tailored to prevent any demon from invading the continent. They were not, however, set up to prevent millions of rats fresh out of Asmongold's basement from invading the land of the lizards.
I was not expecting an Asmon drop there.
For a final note on them, the obvious connection I brought up pretty quickly. Nurgle. There's a weird relationship between Pestilence and Nurgle, and indeed how much he's involved is up for debate. There is that whole thing about a great unclean one essentially creating Clan Pestilence, and for God's sakes, the leader of Clan Pestilence has, to my knowledge, always been called Nurglich, followed by whatever number of Nurglich we're on. On the other hand, the Horned Rat has repeatedly entered the mortal world, and Clan Pestilence is still allowed to exist. You might say that maybe Nurgle's too powerful for him to interfere, but Nurgle was at home and the Horned Rat was in their face. I see no reason that he couldn't interfere if that's what he truly wanted to and get rid of the clan. So instead, here's some ideas for you to think about. Maybe
the Great Horned One is Nurglich's pet rat.
Maybe Nurgle did start Pestilence, but as a disgusting asshole rat, the Great Horned Rat sort of adopted them, and now they feed him. Maybe that was never the case, and the Great Horned Rat was always their daddy. Or maybe it's a sort of team project between Nurgle and the Horned Rat. Skaven have worked with others before.
I love how it's like wholesome they make Nurgle here. You're just like, Papa Nurgle loves you. It's disgusting, but we love you.
And they joined up with Chaos in the end times to save their own skins. Of course, betrayal is inevitable if that's the case, but that's just more Skaven shenanigans to be had. And whatever the specifics, Clan Pestilence seems to be here to stay. Keep your toilets close by, friends, because diarrhea area is sure to follow these rats' footsteps.
Clan Moors. Okay, so we have Pestilence, who is all about the diseases. We have Eshin, which is all about the sneaky stabby. We have Scryer, which is all about making machines, and Molder, who is all about mutations and that sort of stuff. Gotcha. Now, Moors, these guys look like they're your basic infantry sort of idea. Maybe. Oh, this is the last. Oh, I guess it is just 4 clans, right? Yeah, Scryer, Molder, Eshin. Oh, Molder, Eshin, and then Moors. Yeah, okay.
Final Skaven clan we'll talk about is Clan Moors. Now, I'm going to describe them to you when the thought may creep into your mind that, holy shit, these are Skaven good guys. False. Incorrect. Remove that notion from your mind. There are no Skaven good guys. Such a thing does not exist.
Nope.
The Skaven of...
It's a Warhammer type universe. There is no such thing as good guys. Ever.
Clan Moors are, however, perhaps the closest thing they've ever come to having something resembling a functioning code of ethics and morals. Best way to put it is about the Skaven as a whole are chaotic evil, Clan Moors is lawful evil. The Skaven of Clan Moors, even those from once rival clans, usually end up praising the leader of Clan Moors quickly, Lord.
Honestly, with every single one of them, I wouldn't consider any of them being chaotic evil. Like, they all seem anywhere from neutral to lawful evil, very wholeheartedly. Chaotic evil implies that they just do shit for the sake of, evil sake. Like, they don't have a code. They don't have any interests. They don't have, like, a way to be bought. They don't have any law, period, that they follow. They just follow their own whimsy and interest. Where, yes, that is technically what they do. They do it in a mildly organized fashion, and they have like a lawful hierarchy to some extent. Yes, you can topple that lawful, but it's within their kind of like the jurisdiction of their clan, sort of, so to speak. Like, they, for the most part, they worship money in the sense they have a capitalism, which means that they have like a law that they follow. So yeah, no, fair enough then.
Nodwell. As a member of the Council of 13, it's a safe, if wrong, assumption to make that Nodwell is using all sorts of tactics, from fear to bribery and coercion, or even magical means to keep his clan so loyal to him. In reality, Clan Moors has discovered something the rest of the Skaven have yet to conceptualize. If you treat your basic clan rats with something almost resembling decency, they will support you over the assholes who throw them into the grinder.
I mean, fair, but also...
with a rusty pipe and a command to either fight and maybe die or run and definitely die. And if you arm them almost halfway acceptably, they can fight better. In Clan Moors, if you can be in any way useful, they will find a use for you and rewards to fit that use. Only traitorous or truly feeble Skaven will be found as Skaven slaves amongst Clan Moors. Treachery, speaking of, is actually frowned upon. If you stab your superior in the back and ruin a battle plan, you're getting sent to the slave pits. Of course, if your commander is actually incompetent, or you can make him appear incompetent, then by all means see him killed. Clan Moors aren't good guys, remember. There are still plenty of Skaven slaves to be found there. It mostly reminds me of a Skaven version of Spartan-style training in regards to how they view treachery. If you can get away with it, you're probably more cunning than the last guy and deserve the spot. But for the non-Skaven slaves, Clan Moors is downright accommodating. Even the basic clan rats are allowed to live in decent-ish barracks and are given weapons and proper training. This has resulted in several things going for them that have caused Clan Moors to have a rather triumphant rise to power. In-house, Clan Moors quickly gains the loyalty of any Skaven they capture. Those that surrender immediately are allowed to become members of Clan Moors, and when they see the benefits it offers, they're happy to join. Because unwanted treachery is met with severe punishment, most of the Skaven in Clan Moors behave—
I like that, unwanted treachery. I like how that's actually a term you can use with these guys.
Save themselves more often than not. Out of house, part of the allure of Clan Moors is that a Skaven can hope for a better life. An actual proper career path of doing your job and being promoted through the ranks is entirely possible. It's worked so well that there's worries amongst the other Council of 13 members that even if they have Nodwell assassinated, Clan Moors will just pop out another Skaven to replace him and things will continue on as normal for Moors. There's also the morale drainer of other Skaven realizing who they're fighting. Because more Skaven are actually trained, they tend to fight far more effectively and for far longer without routing. This has in turn given them
Okay. So these are probably their basic infantry. Yeah, no, even their like lower infantry guys have a shield, have a decent cudgel, have flails and that sort of thing. This guy's probably a little screwed because his feet are tied, but like for the most part, yeah, no, they're pretty well kitted.
Some good early victories that give them a reputation as fierce combatants. This in turn makes people afraid of Clan Moors because they have a reputation for being fierce combatants, which is again at least partially earned. So when Clan Moors comes knocking, many lesser clans will outright surrender. This not only bolsters Clan Moors with more Skaven that will soon be trained to Clan Moors standard, but is yet another victory for Clan Moors to wave around and cow other Skaven into submission with.
Right.
Their greatest feat yet has undoubtedly been their conquest of the lower levels of Carrick 8 Peaks. Known as the City of Pillars to the Skaven, it's become a vital hub of transportation across the Under Empire. Clan Moors controls at least the lower levels and will make any Skaven attempting to cross it or set up shop pay handsomely. It also means they're constantly fighting both night goblins and dwarfs, owning the skills of this clan's military even further. Speaking of, when deployed.
Yep. So they are definitely the battle hardened ones. These are the true militant group. Okay, so then if I were to look at this, we would have Scryer would probably be kind of like our artificers, wizards sort of idea. We have Molder, which would be kind of like our bards and honestly, bards would make probably the most sense, but like also a form of wizard group because they do science. We have Molder, which rogue, easy. No, sorry. I think. Oh, we had two parts for Molder. Okay. Eshin would be our rogues, and then these guys would be our fighters, barbarians, and paladins, and that sort of thing. Oh, and wait, there was... Why am I getting myself confused here? I feel like he mixed up some of the tag names here. We got Scryer, Molder. He named the Eshin one Molder as well, and then the Eshin line is... Okay, this is actually supposed to be the Pestilence. Pestilence? The pests. These guys are our clerics. Okay, there we go.
Deployed to battle, Moors can do a little bit of everything, but they're most well known for their regimented and elite soldiers.
Yeah.
Clan Moors' storm vermin are a cut above the rest, and even their lowly clan rats can fight in something resembling the cohesion of an Empire State troop company. Were it not for the end times, Clan Moors would very likely have been either a driving force in Skaven society for change, or at the very least the catalyst of yet another Skaven civil war. And if you don't mind me saying, I would bet that Clan Moors would be the first time the powers to be of Skaven Blight didn't come out on top. Clan Moors are not good guys. At their kindest, they don't view their fellows as comrades, but as tools to be cultivated, which is still leagues above other Skaven, such as Queek Headtaker's relationship with Nodwell, that of a prized attack dog to be thrown at his enemies. But once again, it's far better than what the rest of Skavendom has to offer. As for Age of Sigmar, all the great clans have become types of clans, so now it isn't just Clan Eshin, for instance, but the Clans Eshin. They all still act the same way, though. A Skaven is still a Skaven, even if their branding has been diluted just a bit. The only odd man out amongst these clans is Clan Moors, who seem to have vanished. That being said, the clans Verminous seem to be the replacement, and indeed have the same basic shtick of Skaven clan that has better normal troops, so maybe they just rebranded themselves to celebrate the new setting. And those are the major clans of the Skaven. Some a bit...
Yeah, I really like that. It covers a lot of like what you would expect from a rat-type society. Covers it, they fit very well within Warhammer, like the Warhammer world building and all that. They're very similar to orcs in a lot of ways. They all probably see their own clan as probably superior. They all are chaotic, crazy little bastards, but they all have a little bit more humanity built into them while being just treacherous and rude to each other at the same time. The Skaven are very interesting. I like them. They're simple. They're, in personal opinion, I don't think they're my favorite, but just like everybody, but I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. I definitely like them a lot. I definitely think orcs are definitely higher on the tier list for me, but that's just because that's more my taste. I can definitely see the appeal to the Skaven. I like them. They're a goofy little bunch, and I'm sure the more I learn about them, the more I'll like them.
Bit more regimented, some a bit more technological, all complete and utter assholes. And remember, even the weakest of Skaven clans can be found right underneath your house at this very moment. Thank you as always to my wonderful channel members. You are the great clans to my Skaven Under Empire, standing out just that little bit prouder than all the rest. If you'd like to support the channel, feel free to subscribe or become a member. Either way, thank you for watching and take care out there.
Yeah. Also, he apparently has like a little point right at the back end here, so let me just think right around here they'll start based on his little clipping bits.
Alright, you gotta pick one. You either have to fight 1 storm vermin or 10 Skaven slaves on the verge of death by starvation. I'm taking the storm vermin.
Yes, 100%. Rats are terrifying when they're hungry and trapped. No, I'm taking the 1v1.
Logically, he's probably quite well fed and could kill me, but I bet I can talk my way out of it. Not by appealing to his morals or anything. God, no, he's still a Skaven.
Nope.
But I bet I can BS my way into convincing him there's a gray seer right behind him, or that his stash of warp tokens has been discovered. Either way, I can then get out of there. Those 10 Skaven slaves, meanwhile, may go down in a single hit, but they're gonna be vicious and ready to die for the slightest bit of food, which would be me.
Yep.
Even if I do win that fight, I'm coming out of it with rabies at the least.
Minimum. Did my video actually get recommended to me next? So funny. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, let's we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and bye-bye. What? Hey, did you enjoy that? Was it funny? Well, come and check it out live over on twitch.tv/freeform_art. Make sure you put the _art. We have lots of fun there. We enjoy ourselves, and we want to see you over there. So come on and hang out. See you in a bit.